I had to walk away from nursing after 20 years back in 2017. I just couldn't do it anymore. It's no longer about patient care, and it is just heartbreaking. I was a peds ER nurse. Hang in there. It's more than heartbreaking. It's devastating. It's devastating. And the worst part, I get why nurses leave. I do get it. Because, I mean, the biggest mafia industry is the medical mafia industry. I mean, if it does a lot of good too, so I don't want to take away from that. But that's also how the devil works. It's like we got to throw you some bones every once in a while so you don't totally catch on. But it does. I mean, there's tons of people that go in for surgery and get better and get I mean, so I get it to a certain degree. But the problem is that people don't want to speak up because literally they will go after you. They will get the nursing board to go after you. The American Psychiatric Association, American Nurses Association, they are all in with these industries at the top that control everyone. And those are the people that need to be gone after. And literally every single article, peer-reviewed or not, that I read about how messed up medicine is, wants to go after the nurses, wants to go after the doctors, and I'm not saying there's not some responsibility there from time to time, but never once do any of those experts at Harvard or Yale or any other damn university want to focus on the problem, which is the CEOs and the administrators. I guarantee you put those bastards behind bars, you will stop this. But they never will focus on that. Instead, what they do is what the CEOs of healthcare will do. They will throw anybody under the bus. These bastards will throw their own mother under the bus. That's what deadbeats they are. Literally. All these administrators below them that go along with their sick, twisted agenda, these men and women that are CEOs of these hospitals, and some of them being nurses with 25 letters after their name, I mean a few here and there anyway, will go along with these CEOs, and then, mark my words, these CEOs will throw all of them under the bus to save their own ass. So this was 2018. So this is just to gear people up and make, oh yeah, we've known this has been a problem. But it says here, institutional corruption in psychiatry, case analysis and solutions for reform, offers no solutions because what it focuses on, is the doctors and the nurses. That's exactly what the sick, twisted administrative people want to focus on, because those are all the people they'll throw under the bus. So I get why nurses leave. I do. It is like you're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. But this, I'm just going to read the very last part. It tells you what this article is all about. And again, this is going back to 2018. And it says here, we offer solutions for reform that intend to go beyond simple transparency and address the root causes and systemic nature of the problems in the field. No, they don't. They don't even get close to it. These include developing rating systems for clinical practice guidelines and medical journals, a stepped care contextual approach to diagnosis and treatment addressing perverse incentive structures within universities, and a shift towards a rights-based paradigm of care with genuine stakeholder involvement. So right there, you know what it's about. It's we're going to throw everybody under the bus all to serve our administrators and CEOs. Yeah, these people don't care. I've read articles like this forever, okay, whether they're peer-reviewed or they're not. It doesn't matter. None of these, and this is from some human rights abuse website, okay, yet even they do not get to the root of the problem. I wonder why. Well, likely, it's because they want to drive what the solution is. They want to direct. The very people that are the problem with it all are the people that want to direct what the solutions are. So this just goes in. Most of what this says is true, though. It does. For decades, psychiatrists and psychologists have claimed a monopoly over the field of mental health. Governments and private health insurance companies have provided them with billions of dollars every year to treat mental illness, only to face industry demands for even more funds to improve the supposed ever-worsening state of mental health. No, mental health is getting worse, so they're wrong about that. No, it is. But that's because it's not being addressed properly. And it's not because of the psychiatrist. Literally, the especially where I work, the administrators override doctors. So if a doctor says we can't accept that patient because based on the milieu not being the best therapeutic milieu for that type of patient or not having enough staff, these were things that we used to take into account. Okay? This is the reason they won't put a nurse in intake where I work. I mean, they do sometimes, but not on a regular basis. Many nurses have said this would help a lot, but they don't want to help anybody. They don't. That's how sick and twisted the administrators are. Please understand me, that's how twisted they are. That's why it's devastating that these people are not gone after. So just so people realize what a racket it truly, truly is, the United States has approximately 100 billion loses 100 billion to healthcare. 20 billion of that is in mental health. Germany's a problem, Australia, all the same thing. Mark Schiller, president of the American Association of Physicians and Surgeons, admitted, I have frequently seen psychiatrists diagnose patients with a range of psychiatric diagnoses that aren't justified to obtain insurance reimbursement. I'd be careful there, Mr. Mark Schiller, because if the administrators of the hospital are overriding doctors, then it's the administrators who don't have a license, mind you. They don't, I mean, doctors have a license for a reason because they can write orders, they can write prescriptions. They have to accept the patient. If the administrators of the hospital are being called by intake because the doctor says, I don't think that's the most appropriate patient for our milieu right now, it's not safe. They are told, intake is told, you call the administrator on call, somebody who doesn't have a license who will then say, no, we're accepting. And then we'll strong arm the nurses into putting orders in under a doctor. So I get why nurses leave. Because the mafia's running them, the CEOs and their latchy administrators should be behind bars. And that's how much of a racket it is. This goes on to say that psychiatrists and psychologist membership bodies do not police the criminality. Rather, as a former president of the American Psychiatric Association, Paul Fink, arrogantly admitted, it is the task of the APA to protect the earning power of psychiatrists. The mental health monopoly has practically zero accountability and zero liability for its failures. That's right. If it did, all of the hospital CEOs, especially at freestanding psych hospitals, would have been in jail and their administrative lackeys would have been in jail a long time ago. This has allowed psychiatrists and psychologists to commit far more than just financial fraud. Look, I've heard forever, everybody says, oh, psychiatrists, they don't listen to me, and some don't. Some do get, have that label for sure. But I've worked with many that do care. Work with nurses that do care. Most nurses burnt out, okay, because we see who the problems are, okay? Well, some do anyway. And they leave, okay, because they don't want to be caught up in all this. I'm going to end up in jail. I'm going to be thrown in some mental hospital if I speak up, because that's how ruthless the medical mafia is. Make no mistake of it. As much as you want to believe that everything that the medical industry does is so about protecting health, clearly it's not. And clearly it scares nurses enough to where they won't speak up and they just leave. And I get it. I get why they do that, because it is a total mafia ring. But the problem is the administrators. The administrators have so much power that literally these dirtbags override the doctors. So the doctors will do what's safe. The doctors will make the right call. The nurses will make the right call. And then they're overrode by people that don't even have a nursing or medical license. They're dirtbags, total dirtbags, yet no website, nobody that writes about this shit, nobody at Becker's Healthcare, nobody at any university or peer-reviewed will say the truth of it, that if you want to stop the medical mafia industry from being as corrupt and dirty and ruthless as it is, then you better start throwing in jail the CEOs of every hospital and their administrators with them. Then you will stop what is known as the medical mafia industry.